Hi everyone, I'm Jade, and what I'm telling you today is some expressions and sayings and insults, words that kids use in British English, or at least they did when I was a kid. So I'm just telling you some of the things that I remember. The thing about kids, as I'm sure you know, they can be quite mean, can't they? In a funny way, but they can also be quite mean. So let me tell you some of the things that we used to say to each other when I was at school. So if you want to insult someone in the playground, you could call somebody a soap dodger. What's a soap dodger, I hear you ask? A soap dodger is someone who doesn't wash, is a dirty, unclean person. If you dodge something, it means you run away from it. So a soap dodger runs away from being clean and washing. Minger. Minger is actually a newer word. I don't think we had this when I was at school, but it's childish. It means ugly person, like, oh, you're minger. Or this one's really bad, actually. I don't agree with this one. Sometimes people say ginger minger. And ginger is someone with red hair. That's really mean about people with ginger hair. Div means stupid person. Oh, shut up, you div. Go away, you div. Weirdo, strange person. I'm not talking to you, you're a weirdo. No, go away. Kids like to say go away a lot, so I'll be repeating that frequently throughout this lesson. This will tell you something about British culture, I think, because it's an insult for you to study and try to do your best, basically. So somebody at school who actually cares and does their work, well, that person's called a tryhard, and that's seen as a bad thing to be called a tryhard. Probably, maybe in your country, that's a good thing. You try hard, well done. In Britain, it's like, no. Seen as a good thing to be good without trying, to be kind of lazy, but for some reason, working hard is not a good thing. And this did apply to me when I was at school, but I wear contact lenses now. I was a four eyes person. I wore glasses. But actually, when I was at school, I don't remember anybody ever calling me four eyes, so I was okay. I survived. A couple of other mean things kids say now. You might call someone a loser if they're the kind of person you wouldn't want to be friends with, like they don't do anything good, they're like uncool, and really sad to say it, they're a pathetic person. That's so mean and horrible, but that's what kids say. You might also be a loner, someone with no friends, then you're called a loner. That doesn't feel very good if you're at school either. Also, we use this adjective, sad. Someone's sad if they're just like not cool and they're saying the wrong things, wearing the wrong things. You can say that person's sad. What do you do if somebody calls you a ginger minger div? Well, you can come back at them with this. You can say, I'm rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. And that way, their words can't hurt you. And then they'll just be really embarrassed. They'll be shamed with your comeback here. Let's have a look at more general childish expressions now. Moving on a little bit from the insults, staying there but slowly moving away from it. Kids are fond of saying this, your mum. It just doesn't, you can say it to anything. Somebody insults you, you can say your mum, or you don't think they're funny or whatever, or you disagree with them, you can say your mum. Or if you don't want to listen to someone, you don't want to listen to their insults, you can say shut your gob, shut your trap, or shut your cake hole. They're all the same thing. So that could be your gob, that could be your trap, or it could be your cake hole. In goes the cake, because you've got a big mouth. Kids are really fond of telling other people to go away, as I mentioned before. So here are two ways to do it. You can tell them to get lost. I'm not listening to you anymore, get lost. Or you can simply say, do one. That also means the same thing. Get out of here. And then, as a reply, you can say, I find this one, it's got that childish, irritating quality to it, which I quite like. Don't get your knickers in a twist. And knickers are like the underwear that women wear. So don't get stressed, don't get your knickers in a twist. That can be a very clever thing to say at the right moment. And if someone's being a bit stressed with you, you can say, take a chill pill. That means relax. And if you're good at saying any of these and you do it in the right tone, it can be quite funny. Some other things to mention here. If someone insults you or teases you or says something and you don't know what to say, someone might say to you, has cat got your tongue? That's what happens when you don't know what to say, when you want to say something but nothing's saying, you're not thinking of anything good. That's the situation for cat got your tongue. This one's particularly childish. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Ha, liar, liar, pants on fire. That could be annoying. And that one's for particularly young kids, I reckon. You wouldn't really get away with that in high school. You might seem a bit of a sad loser if you said that in high school. But it's all right for little kids. This one's quite cute. If something's easy to do, you can say, easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's done. It's easy. And it seems that everybody knows this one. When you've finished what you're doing, you can say, see you later, alligator, in a while, crocodile. Which brings us to the end of this lesson. You can go and do the quiz on this lesson on the website. You can also subscribe here, so you get to see my other videos about English, learning English. And you can also subscribe on my personal channel, do all kinds of things on my personal channel too. I really appreciate you subscribing in both places, okay? I've told you all this, but I want you to use these words responsibly, okay? I don't want you to go around bullying anyone and calling them weirdo tryhards, okay? It's not nice. Good to have the knowledge. And remember, if somebody's mean to you, you can say, I'm rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you. And on that note, I'm going to go now. So, bye-bye.
Jade wins. Flawless victory.